going to do a piece tonight which is by John Spillane. John Spillane is a contemporary Irish songwriter who has, like every Irish person, has learned the Irish language as he came up in grade school, but has gone back and actually written songs and using poetry in Irish, and introduced a whole new generation of people to kind of the beauty of the Irish language through contemporary songs. And he's also quite a character and great fun to watch. And this particular piece is called Ballincollig Castle. And Ballincollig is outside of Cork in Ireland, where John Spillane lives. And there's a castle there, and it's still there. And it was actually threatened by development at one point. And they came to him and said, well, why don't you write something about this, and then we can publicize this. And John Spillane, who's a great self-promoter, tells it like this. So they came up to me and they said, well, John, why don't you write something that'll help us out? And then he said, well, you've come to the right place, because this is the Gaelic Kit Factory. And so, so he wrote this piece. But it's about his childhood, and it's about his memories of this castle, and then as an adult going back and reliving that. But like a lot of Irish stories, it has to do with the spirit world also, not being very far from where we are. So it moves in and out of history, memory, fairy tale, and back without much differentiation between those. And that's sort of how the Irish language and the Irish history looked at that sort of thing. The spirit world is very close. So you take this contemporary story, just like a lot of John Spillane's music, and it's informed by old forms, old patterns. And when you understand that, then you'll see that it's a part of the history of the Irish that makes this so familiar to them. So I had learned this quite a while ago, a few years ago. And recently, though, I got a new perspective on it. A good friend of mine and colleague, Stephanie Jardin, who knows a lot about this kind of stuff, told me about the Grail Castle, the Holy Grail, and those legends that have to do with the journey of a person, specifically a young man, from boyhood to adulthood. And so I went back and looked at this piece, and it really fit quite well. So think about that. Once upon a time, when I was a young fella, about 11 or 12, one of the places we used to go was called Ballincollig Castle. It was the most beautiful place. We get up in the morning, myself, Dave Murph, Johnny Isaac, Davy Isaac, maybe Brendan Holland, Dimmy O'Hay, and we'd ride out of town. Bozo the dog would be running along behind us in case we got attacked. Nobody knew who owned Bozo, but he'd follow those Isaac boys to the ends of the earth. Anyway, we get up in the morning, stop at the shop, and ride out of town, out into the countryside, out to Ballincollig. Well, the sun would be shining, the birds would be singing. We'd ride up the back road, down the hill, past the mill, through the gap. And there, 3 fields over, there she stood. Beautiful Ballincollig Castle, all shining in the morning sunlight, all gentle and noble, like an ancient castle in a fairy tale. Well, we took the castle, we defended the castle, we fought and died for Ireland in Ballincollig Castle. We climbed the tower and we lit the fire. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the sun rose high up in the sky, and it fell down the other side. And that day ended, and the following day ended, and time went by. And the next thing, unbelievably, unexpectedly, I grew to be a man. And I forgot all about those times in Ballincollig Castle, until one day, I happened to be out that way. I happened to have some time on my hands. I thought I'd go out and visit the castle and see how things stood with her. So I got in my car, drove up the back road, down the hill, past the old mill apartments now, looking for a castle. No sign of any castle. Out the road, back in the road, I met a man by the side of the road. "Where's the castle?" I said. "Ah," he said, "it's very hard to get to it now," he said. "It's over there behind those trees. For in all the years since I was a lad, a great forest of houses had grown up all around Ballincollig Castle, and a great forest of thorn trees had grown up all around the castle itself. Well, I fought my way through the thorn trees, and scratched and bleeding finally, I fell in upon the old keep, and there she stood, just as beautiful as ever, beautiful Ballincollig Castle, all shining in the morning sunlight, all gentle and noble like an ancient castle from a fairy tale. About 1,000,000 crushed and battered beer cans lay about her feet, shining like gold and silver in the morning sun. As I wandered around, the old memories started coming back. I started to wonder what had happened to the lads. And as I climbed the stair to the tower, suddenly I fell into a dream. And there, in the topmost turret of the topmost tower of Ballincollig Castle, I saw the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, lying there on a bed of roses. She opened her eyes. "John," she said, "I thought you'd never get here." "I know," I said. "Life's been tough, but here I am now." And at that exact moment, a chilling, biting, and knifing wind blew in through the cold stone glassless windows of the tower. I turned around, and she was gone. Anyway, about 10 days later, I was inside in a pub in town, and I was introduced to this woman. We were introduced by a poet, Dermot O'Dolly, and I knew instantly that she was the woman that I had glimpsed in my vision in the tower. Well, after that, we got to talking. We got to know each other, and slowly but surely, we fell in love. And after that, ladies and gentlemen, for a long time, we lived together, for a long time, we lived happily ever after. Seamus Scale, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If there's any lies in it, they'll have to stay there now. All I got for it was a pair of silver wings, a golden crown, and a place in heaven.